Yards across America are filled with old stuff, piled up everywhere. My job is to sort through the rubble and uncover the hidden treasures of the yard sale. I sort through the trash and turn crap into cash. Hi, and welcome back. This is episode 4 of Pickin Vegas. My name's Mike. I pick local yard sales every week, and I make a little show about all the stuff I find. This week we found a lot of sales, but there weren't a lot of very good stuff out there, but we still managed to put together a pretty good pile for 2 days of work. So let's go ahead and take a look at what I got. Okay, let's take a look at the table and see what kind of stuff we got here. First, on the chopping block, we have a little cast iron little teapot. Lady said she used it as a humidifier, so see the handle is missing. I'll probably address that somehow, but it was a neat little item and it was $1, so can't go too wrong. Here we have a pair of antique binoculars. I did say they say something about the Army on them, so it'll be curious to see just how old they really are and what they were used for originally, but they're a pretty neat little item. Got the case, $10 for the whole set there. Next, we got this little metal dog, little cast iron guy. When I find these things, they're usually porcelain. I usually stay away from them, but I have a thing for metal things, and he's a nice little heavy dog, so at $1, also a good little find. A lot of the sales we go to are just total junk. And one of those was where we found this cool Lowenbrow beer mug. It was nothing but paint, dirty old clothes, and at the bottom of a box was this neat old thing. And they don't sell Lowenbrow in the U.S. anymore, so makes it kind of a collectible thing for somebody that has a man cave or something. And speaking of man caves, a little Jim Beam decanter here of a trout. Really cool little item. I'll buy decanters when I get them just like this one for $1 so that I can put just $8 or $10 on them at my antique booth, and that way they sell along pretty good. Any more than that, people just generally won't buy them. So another wireless system. This one allows you to play your guitar or a mic or a keyboard or whatever from a distance. You wear this little thing, and it's all new in the box for the most part. So I got it for $10. I'm guessing it's probably worth $30 or something. It's an older one and not a super high-end thing, but good buy at $10. And then we have this neat little set of steak knives here. Got 8 of them. They look to be still new, never used. They do have a brand on them that I don't recognize. I wouldn't normally buy steak knives, but anything with this kind of stag bone handle on it sometimes can really turn out to be something cool. At a minimum, I think they're $10 or $20 at the antique store. If I can figure this brand out and they turn out to be something more special, then maybe that'll add a little value. We'll have to see. Okay, next is these 2 big Asian vases. I got one here and one here. They're different, but they're both about the same size-ish. They got a neat pattern on the top, and this one has some other colors and stuff on it. I got those 2 vases and these 2 large stands. I'm assuming somebody had the vases in their house on those stands. My house, they would last 3 minutes. We have cats and dogs, and that stuff would be broke all over the place. I'll sell these stands separately from the vases, as I think they'd be better for like a metal sculpture or something on top that somebody could display really nice. The vases, we'll have to wait and see. I have no idea what those would be worth. I paid $40 for all 4 pieces. I think there's some money left on to make on these for sure. So, and next is this picture, this frame picture. It's quite old. I'm guessing from the 50s, maybe 60s. Not really sure. It says, "Darn, they fenced it in," and it's the tree, and they put a fence around it, and the dogs now don't have anywhere to go pee-pee. We'll have to see if this is anything. It was a neat little thing, so we bought it. It's around $3, I believe. We'll have to see what it's worth, though. And next is this neat little wood shelf for displaying things. Got that for $5. And on it at the time were these little oil cans. They're pretty small little guys, and there's a whole set of them here, and I got all of them for $10. They're pretty neat little things, and pump oil out of them. No idea what they're worth, though. I can't imagine they're super valuable, but they're really cool, so you got to buy cool. Next, we found a couple of women's motorcycle leather jackets. We got both of them for $10 a piece. I'll have to see what they end up really being worth, but they're women's jackets. They should do really good in my antique booth. Sometimes these things can actually have a lot of value to it, but I don't know if these are one of those. We'll have to wait and see on these. And next is the stamp books. Got two of them. They made these in the 70s and 80s for the most part. They're collectible things. You'd get them every month. These have gold stamps that are replicas. There's a whole lot of pages in here in both books. I got both of them for $25. I'm guessing maybe up to $100 for the pair of them would be good. And then we found this neat metal parrot that you can hang up. And he's hollow. I think he's made of brass. Pretty cool item. We got that for $5. I have no idea what that's worth either. I don't think it's really valuable, but who can pass that up? Really neat item. And then finally, Legos. Both these Legos came from awful yard sales. There was literally nothing there other than these. So I got this at one yard sale for $10 for everything. There's a lot of little figures, some vehicles. I've always done really good with Legos, so when I can get them for the right price, I'll buy them. And then I got this boxed one and this little basket full for $10 from another terrible yard sale full of nothing. This one I was smart and did check that there were some pieces missing, so that allowed me to negotiate down for $10. But it does have the instructions, the box, and most of it's there. So a lot of times these can work out to make some good money. So we'll have to wait and see, but I have a good feeling on that one. So that wraps up our table shot segment. Next we'll be going into a little more detail and find out if anything here really turned out to be that good or not. I have a feeling we got a few surprises though, so let's go find out. Okay, first up is the old binoculars I found. These are pretty neat old binoculars. I did try them out. They do work. They've got quite a bit of age and wear to them, but are still functional. They are clearly marked on them. Bausch & Lomb, Rochester, New York, 30 millimeter, 6 power, and they are clearly marked Signal Corps, U.S. Army. From what I can tell, these are probably World War II era. They could be earlier, but somewhere in that era anyway. Pricing on eBay, these things land from about $50 up to $100 depending on condition. These have definitely more of the wear and tear side of things than the brand new shiny side of things. So I think the 50 is probably where they're going to land. In addition to that, I don't think the case or the strap, because of the lack of wear, are as old as binoculars. So certainly seems to fit it well, but definitely probably didn't come with them originally anyway. So we spent $10 on these. I think I can get 50. Pretty good investment. And here we have the little cast iron coffee teapot that I bought. It was originally missing the handle, and I've since made a new one, fabricated it out of a piece of metal, and then wrapped that with leather so that you could grab onto it. This item has now gone from basically a piece of junk into something somebody could actually use again. And that's the whole point of what I do, is trying to get stuff and put it back in the system and turn a little profit. I paid $1 for this item, and I would expect I'll get 10 or 15 bucks for it at the antique store. So it does show I do the little stuff, not just the big stuff. And here we have this wireless system that you can use with a guitar or a keyboard, probably even a microphone, depends on how you hook it up. But this allows you to have a base station, allows you to play your instrument from far away. And you hook up the receiver to your amplifier, and you now have wireless instruments. So this looked really easy. It appeared to be brand new in the box. So, but I figured if I'm going to sell it, I should plug it in, check it out. And of course, this did not turn on. So I'm lucky I checked this thing. I also got lucky. I decided to go ahead and pop the 4 screws off the bottom and take a look inside. And I was actually lucky enough to find a small wire that had come loose from the solder. I resoldered that wire, and like magic, it works and it's ready to go now. So it's not a terribly valuable item. I spent $10 on it, and I expect around $30 for it. So still not a bad deal, but it does show even when things look really, really easy and they look brand new, always check your stuff. Okay, next up is the little tiny oil can collection I obtained. These are pretty neat little oil cans, got a lot of character to them. They're quite small little guys. They're called thumb oilers. And they call them thumb oilers because when you take them, you pump them like this, and little bits of oil come out. They're not terribly valuable. If they had any advertising on them, they would probably be worth, they could be worth $10 up to $30 a piece if they had any advertising. None of them have markings though. So I do think they're landing at around $5 a piece. I might get 40 or 50 for this whole collection. So I originally spent 10, and I think that's pretty good, even at 40. So pretty happy with these. They're pretty neat, and I think they'll sell pretty quick. And here we have the 2 stamp books I found. These are stamps that you could get a subscription through the post office, and they would send you these collectible stamps. They did all different kinds of stamps this way. These ones in these books are these gold-plated metal stamps that are replicas of actual stamps. And they come on an envelope with the little paperwork and everything. We have about 90 or so of these in total with the 2 books. And after looking these up, I really think it's easiest to just sell this whole collection to one person rather than trying to figure out what in there is valuable, because from what I see, they only sell for maybe $1 and the good ones up to $5 a piece. So my plan, just sell them locally and let somebody scoop up the whole collection at once. I expect to get $100, so we spent $25 on them, so that's going to work out pretty good. All right, next is the 2 leather motorcycle jackets that we picked up. They're both women's jackets. They both got quite a bit of age to them. One of them did turn out to be an actual Harley-Davidson jacket, which is a plus. Unfortunately, this particular design and everything isn't anything terribly collectible or anything. I think it was really popular back in the 80s, and there's quite a few of them rolling around out there. But regardless of that, it's still a nice ladies' leather jacket, and it's got a lot of style. We did get this other one. I was able to identify the maker of that, and again, didn't really turn out to be anything overly collectible. But again, really nice leather jacket, a lot of wear, cool vintage look. I think these will sell really good in the antique store. I expect about $40 for this one and probably around $60 for this one. We spent $20 on the 2 of them, so $100 for both. Pretty darn good deal. All right, next we have the Lego collection I bought. Actually bought 2 groups of Legos. Bought this race car with this box of spare parts. And we bought a big bag of Legos since I've since gone through that and sorted them out to see what was in there. So starting with the race car, I was able to put this car back together, and it was maybe 80% complete to begin with. So I went through the instructions, went through the spare parts, and was able to piece most of the car back together. It is still missing a tire and a couple other odds and ends, but with Lego, kind of neat thing, you can just go right to the back of the instruction manual, look up the part you're missing, and it'll actually tell you the part number. I was able to go online and order all the missing parts for this vehicle, including shipping, for about $15. That makes this a 100% complete kit, which brings the value of it way up. And then in addition to that, within this pile of stuff, I also found these 2 minifigures. This is the Obsidian Orc from the Avengers, and this is the Iron Spider figure. Turns out both of these guys are worth $15 a piece, so pretty cool there. And in this group of stuff, we had a whole bunch of bulk Legos. I went through them. I was able to get about 35 minifigures, plus these little doggies, and some guys with motorcycles and whatnot. So these little minifigures can be roughly worth $1 a piece, and the bulk Legos, if you sell them right anyway, are worth around $5 a pound. So we ended up with about 7 pounds total of bulk Legos, plus all these minifigures. So all in all, this turned out to be pretty valuable. I expect the race car to bring about $70 just by itself, another $30 for these guys, and at least another $50 for this. So $20 we spent turned into $150, so pretty good find there. And here we have the 2 big Asian vases that I bought. These are really large vases. One measures 24 inches tall, the other measures 23 inches tall. They have a blue and white porcelain finish to them. This one here has a lot of scenery on it, and this one actually does have some writing on it, and they have really interesting shapes on the top of them. And this one actually even has some neat forest and another color on it. After looking these up on the internet, I am well aware I do not know anything about Asian vases or collectibles, and it didn't help me one iota. As a matter of fact, I thought they were Japanese. Turns out they could be Chinese, they could be something else. I'm actually more confused than when I started this. But I only bought them because I thought they were decorative and they're cool looking. I can tell you right now, they're not old, they're modern, and so I don't really think they're anything more than a decorative item. I do think somebody's going to pay 100, maybe up to 150 a piece for these things. I did buy these with the 2 large wood stands. I paid $40 for everything, and I do see getting at least $250 out of the whole group of stuff, so it's going to work out just fine. Thank you for watching. This wraps up episode 4 of Pickin Vegas. We spent a total of $133 for all of the items on the table and the ground. I do expect the retail number, the price I'll get for the items, to be right around $750. And I think there's a possibility of a few more bucks possibly there to be had too if all goes well. So not too bad overall. Remember, if you like what you see, please subscribe. That way you won't miss anything new we're making. And I'm excited. The new weekend is coming and the hunt continues. And we're going to see you next week with a brand new pile.